Good night everyone and welcome to another Elliott Wave forecast technical video a day. Today is Tuesday, October the 9th around 9:56 p.m. Guys, I mean a very clear market, and now it's not about what we know that should happen, because we know what should happen in the market for the next, I would say, 7 to 10 days, is knowing how to ride the market. After doing all the charts today in the 4 and in the 1 hour charts, we come to the conclusion that the market, it has at least an easy path that should take the market with, I would say a swing or risk on and a swing or risk off. After that swing and risk off is when the moment of truth is going to come to this market. That swing, according to the timing cycles, looking at the dollar index, should take place sometimes between, like we've been saying, around these areas, which is, let me put the timing here, should happen between the 10 and top around the 15, 17 of this month. So technically between tomorrow and next week, we should have a temporary top or maybe a huge top in the dollar. Tomorrow is a very huge day when it comes to times, is because if you take a look, tomorrow is going to be the 1.5% or technically the 50% in time of the move down from July 24 top to the low that took place at 14 of September. The 50% times comes tomorrow. Usually that's a time that within a double zigzag, C waves ended, and then we're gonna go lower in the B and then higher again in the C of the Y. So very huge day tomorrow. Tomorrow is a day when the dollar should be sold. Starting today and at midnight, the dollar should be sold, if it's not that the law is in place by now. All right, so be aware that this is what we locate in the market: a swing or risk on and a swing or risk on. It looks to be very well seen all around the market. So that's the dollar. For now, the target in the dollar is 80.70, 81.30 in extension, from where we should see nothing more than it's a set off in the dollar. All right, so I want you guys to understand that and being aware of that situation right there in the US dollar. Now, talking about the dollar in the small time frame, this is what I want you guys to show, and this is when you guys need to concentrate. This is the dollar from this low that took place October the 5th. From there, the dollar is doing a 7 swing structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 swing. The structure is very mature, and we are expecting at any moment a pullback in the dollar. A pullback that should take the dollar to around the 79.61 area, from where the dollar should rally again. In other words, guys, very simple. Is the same scenario when we have three ways here, three ways in favor of risk and three ways against. So very simple when it comes to the dollar right there. Now let's take a look at the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is selling lower, like we say. Now it's critical that the S&P 500, it hasn't break still this low. Consequently, that opened the door for an alternative count, a count when it have to be either the flat, and we're gonna get something like this, a pullback and lower against a bounce in favor of risk and a bounce against the risk to finish the cycle, or the S&P 500 also can be entering in a type of triangle structure when the market is going to get the same amount of swing, but at the end is the same result, which is going to be nothing more than a bounce in favor of risk and a bounce against before the market rally. So S&P, one of the two in my opinion. Now I want to mention also here, these days, look at the correlation between the dollar and the S&P, almost an 100% correlation. July 24 high, September 24 low. So technically, if the S&P is gonna do the triangle, guess what the dollar needs to do? This and lower, and then the S&P this and higher. If the dollar is gonna do, if the S&P is gonna do the flat, nothing changed, because you're gonna get a bounce here in favor of risk and another set off like we got today. So I want you guys to keep that in mind about the two structures in the S&P. The structure is corrective, and remember that any selling in the S&P is also a contra trend move. Now, even though we like the targets of 1393, 1412, even 1330, I want to mention, guys, also the idea, and don't discount this idea. Look, this idea is also very possible in the S&P. This idea is calling the S&P to be in an impulse when you got 1, 2, and then you got here 1 and another 2, and that way technically what you got is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is a wave 4. Another alternative count is that the first leg was a leading diagonal over here, and then you got a leading diagonal like this. When you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 2, and then this is wave 3, and now we are in a wave 4. Those two scenarios can be in place if the S&P do not go lower to around the areas that we are expecting. If the triangle is the structure in the S&P, then we're gonna switch the 4-hour count to the impulse one, which technically do not change any type of nothing in the market. To be honest with you, nothing changed technically in the market if that's the case, due to the fact that it's gonna be the same result. To be honest with you guys, it's gonna be the same result anyways. Now finally, I want to talk about these pairs. These pairs are, this is the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar is doing there, as you guys see, a flat, which we call it a give. I want you guys to look at it on August the 9th, September the 5th, September 14th, and the rally lower. Now Aussie should trade lower. Aussie should trade higher later on today, most likely to an area around 102.74, from where Aussie should trade lower also. So technically what you need in Aussie is a swing in favor of risk and then a move lower and risk off. Alright, now I want to show you now, and I want to put the New Zealand dollar in top of Aussie here. Look, New Zealand dollar, if you notice, is the same structure. Look, high, low, high, same days. Now we kind of like, as you guys know, we like the flat right here in New Zealand, and in the small time frame we like this as an ending diagonal when we got also a swing in favor of risk and a swing lower to finish the move to around the diagonal that we have right there. With that in mind, I want to mention also the idea of the dollar CAD. look, if the cat right here, let me put the Aussie, I'm sorry. If the cat, you notice that it bottom here. I want to mention the idea that the cat can have here a top already. Technically, the cap can have a top, and I don't recommend buying any still. Our system in the dollar cat is still bearish in every time frame. So I don't recommend the cat to be a sell more than I would like if you guys, because honestly, I see that the upside as of right now, all we have in risk is a swing in favor of risk and a swing in favor of risk off. And I don't see with that limit right there and swing, I don't know how the cat is gonna get to that one area. So I would recommend stay out of the cat, because if Aussie and New Zealand, all they need is a swing against in favor of the dollar, most likely I don't know how the cat is gonna rally that much, let's say 300 pips. All right, so that's what we have for tonight. We are expecting we are expecting a move in favor of risk at any moment, and then we are expecting another set off against the risk trade. So technically that's what we are expecting. Let's see how it play out. Follow the charge and you guys should be okay. Thank you, Saror, and see you guys tomorrow.